Hey, everybody, welcome to the Spiritual Speakeasy, where the bar is always open and spirits are always served. Special shout out to Ravy Rave and Kirkpatrick, who are on right now. Hey, tonight I have Joellen Becker. She is a Reiki master, master educator, multiple certifications in the spirit realm and healing. And without any further ado, I'd like to bring her on.
Hi.
Hey, Joellen, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. I just gave a brief spit out about what you do. If you'd like to tell the audience a little bit more about you, we'd love that.
Okay, sure. Yes, like you mentioned, I have multiple certifications. I'm a Usui Reiki Master Teacher, a Karuna Reiki Master Teacher, a Brahman Reiki Master Teacher, an Angelic Reiki Master. I'm certified as a sound teacher, a chakra master teacher, and I'm certified in whole body essential oil as a practitioner and a trainer. Certified in aromatap, emotional freedom technique, and also I'm a spiritual life coach. Um, this is my third career, I want to say. I had several other careers before this one, several others I've retired from, but this I feel like I found my true calling. So
what did you do first?
I was educationally trained to be a speech language pathologist. I did that in a public school setting for 13 years. And then I went on to work at the Missouri Department of Mental Health in prevention. And I worked there for almost 23 years. And then I began learning, well, before I retired, actually, I began learning Reiki. And it found me. There's a saying that Reiki finds and you don't find Reiki, and it will come to you time.
And that is exactly correct. That's how we met.
Yeah.
And our Reiki master before the two of us met was David Nowak.
Yes. Yes.
And then I met Joellen, and she's my Reiki master and educator, and here we are. How did you find, or how did Reiki find you?
Well, I was still working at the Department of Mental Health, and a colleague had told me about Reiki, and I thought, well, this sounds interesting. And so I went to have a treatment, and oh my gosh, I was so relaxed. And actually, I felt like I got done, I was up in the clouds. I mean, I can't explain it. I was like sky high, and I thought, am I even going to be able to drive home? It's kind of the way I felt after the first. That wasn't my training. That was the session. And so then there was a reason why this all happened, because then a little bit later, my fiance died suddenly, and I had read where Reiki helps with grief. And so I called Dave up. I found out on a Sunday that he passed away, and I called Dave on Sunday night. Said, "Look, I got to come in tomorrow. You got to give me a Reiki session because I have to get through this grief."
Mm-hmm.
That's actually then, I mean, I felt so much relief. I still went through the grieving process. But honest to God, I think I would have fallen apart totally if I hadn't had the Reiki there to help support me. And I thought in my head, I've got to do this for other people. I have to train other people so they'll know how to do this, because you do learn self Reiki as well. Besides um, giving Reiki to other people, you actually learn how to give Reiki to yourself and heal yourself. So, anyway, that was when I made the decision. I thought, I have got to do this. And so that's where it found me, literally.
So tell the people out there, a lot of listeners, you hear all kinds of things. Oh, Reiki uses symbols that are satanic. It unlocks doors that are unnatural. Healing touch is by God, but Reiki is not because it's Asian. And you hear all these cliches about things like that. Hi, Damien. Hi, Lori. Um, tell people what exactly is Reiki.
Reiki there's no religion at all attached to Reiki. It is universal life force energy. And actually, in fact, if the audience wants to do this with me, this would probably be good. Um, if if you put your hands a bit apart, or if it's on the it's screen, how far you can see me, I may need to put them a little bit closer because of the screen. You can put them a little bit further apart than this, and literally bring them together, and you'll start to feel energy in between your hands. And if you pull it back and forth, you'll feel the energy go back and forth. This is called a chi ball. And the energy that runs through our bodies is called chi, prana. Um, there's different various names, but it's all life force energy. And that's what Reiki is. And so you'll feel this. It's all around us. And for instance, um, we all have the ability to heal ourselves. If you get a headache, what's the first thing you do? Oh, oh, my head, or you bump your leg. What do? You put your hands on the place where you bumped it. Or, if you're hurt, you automatically, you put your hands there. So we already innately do this. And all Reiki does is just fine tunes it. So it's like fine tuning a radio, where you kind of hear the station, but the Reiki will fine tune it where it's right, it's crisp and clear.
Yeah, we had talked about this the other day, like for people who don't have an understanding of tuning into a frequency, those of you that are older will remember the dial-in radios. But when you took the knob and you actually turned it to get to a distinct, crisp, clear sound, and then you went too far, that's where you become staticky again. Well, when you fine tune and you're tuning into the right vibration, with your hands, which is what our bodies naturally do
Yes.
to
Yeah.
heal. So when your tooth hurts, you put your hand to your jaw or your head, like you said, or your eyes ache, you put something over your eyes. It's a natural way and has always been a natural way of
Right.
healing.
And like I said, I mean, it's a natural way of healing. And Reiki just fine tunes it and makes the signal for the healing, like just like the dial on the radio. It makes it
Mhm.
and more fine tuned. And in fact, I don't know, and I think we talked about this too, about the fact that without being attuned to Reiki, we can naturally heal ourselves, with just putting your hand on a place that's injured on your body. Um, we're only using about 10 to 20% of our capacity for healing. But if we're attuned to Reiki, then we're going to use 100% of it. So
Yes.
that's you're still going to heal, but you're going to heal faster with the help of Reiki. And like, uh, besides increasing the capacity to heal, your intuitive, your natural gifts, your natural psychic gifts are awakened with Reiki too. And it's nothing to be afraid of, or it's nothing that's satanic or anything like that, because you already have that gut feeling, and this just really makes you more aware of it.
Lori Cook is on, and she said you attuned her as well.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Damien, stop the 12 cans of Red Bull a day, man. He said he's wired like a road runner and he needs energy. Trying to control his arms would be very beneficial. To stop drinking the Red Bull. I'm just going to put it out there, buddy. Red Bull is not your friend. Um, so what is the difference? Explain the difference between a treatment, a Reiki session, and attunement.
Okay. Now, we are all like for Reiki, we're actually, it isn't the energy that comes from us. Just like I explained before, Reiki is life force energy and it's all around us. And so we're much like kind of akin it to a straw. It's like a straw. It goes through us and out our hands to the other person. So we're sending the Reiki through us to them. So it's more fine tuned, or like if you think about um, a a hose and you're spraying the hose, and then you want to find stream, so you're going to dial it down to where it's and have more force. So that it's very similar to that. So a Reiki session, actually, the energy flows through the Reiki practitioner to the participant, to the recipient, and Reiki will go wherever it's needed. And there's specific hand positions that were shown, but to be quite honest, sometimes the Reiki practitioner will get so hung up on placing their hands specifically just right that it will kind of slow down the flow of the Reiki, because you really have to get into into the zone, as so the expression goes, and let the Reiki flow through you so that you don't use your own energy.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
That was something I had troubles with at first. My first few years of practicing, I had no clue how not to drain myself, and I became ill every single time I did a session on someone because I was zapping my own energy. And of course, doing craft and doing metaphysical work and channeling, I have since learned I mean, there's vibration everywhere, there's energy everywhere. You draw from higher level energy and let it come through you like a siphon or a sieve
yes,
and go down into the ground so that you are not picking up and using up all of your vibration and energy.
right. And this brings another good point. You reminded me, Julie, that whenever you're a Reiki practitioner, you literally need to protect yourself, because you are, even though you're giving this life force Reiki energy to another, you need to protect yourself, because whatever they have, because the Reiki is going to stir up that whatever needs healing or whatever needs correcting or balancing within that body.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to bring that up to the surface. It's going to need a place to go, and you sure don't want.
No.
So you definitely need to protect yourself also. Uh,
And keeping your environment clean and yourself clean is so very important with any form of energy work that we do. Even massage therapy needs to do that. And I know a lot of massage therapists that are very bad about I mean, you just develop a habit, and unless you're a practitioner and you've been taught that, that's one thing they don't teach about is metaphysical cleaning or spiritual cleansing. It's not spiritual work, but you're still picking up gunk off of people.
exactly. Yes. Any of the energy work, you need to clean yourself, the room, in between. I mean, that's part of the reason. Obviously, if you have them on a massage table, have them on a sheet or whatever, obviously you're going to change that between participants, not only for the germs, but for the energy.
Mm-hmm.
that it's going to be, absorbed by that material. So, yes, absolutely. Well, that's actually with the Reiki session. The Reiki goes to the person and it balances out the person so that they can heal better. And they heal on the physical, emotional, spiritual, and mental levels, on all four of those levels. And so it's going to go wherever it needs to go. Reiki sessions are cumulative also. So, for instance, let's say you go in and you have one session and you feel better, but that first session kind of went in and swept out and cleaned out all the stuff and prepared for the second session. So each session is much like going to the gym to work out.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the gym one time, and, well, you're not going to be all buffed and everything. You know,
Right.
to continue to do this, and the Reiki sessions are cumulative. Now, trust me, people will feel better after one session.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And you're easier to clean and get balanced the
exactly.
closer your sessions are obviously together because we attract things, and if we're feeling down and negative, the negative attracts a negative, and you go to places where there's lots of other people with lots of other feelings and lots of other emotions and other issues, so we pick up all those little things in our backpack that have to be cleaned out.
Yes, absolutely. And there's a general rule, Julie. I'm not sure we talked about this before, but I know that you are aware of it. There's a general rule that usually 4 sessions is like one session is good, two's better, 2 and 3 is better, and 4 is like the ultimate. So
Yes.
fourth session, uh, they're usually at an optimum, and then they can start maintenance. Like maybe once every 2 weeks or something like that. And even
Mm.
better, learn how to be attuned to Reiki and learn how to give Reiki to yourself, because that you will do every day, because that will help raise your vibration.
I want you to explain attunement, but Lori asks if you use crystals during your session, or states we use crystals during your sessions. Is that to increase the Reiki power or to protect you? And Damien asks, do you use Vivianite crystal in your Reiki?
Okay, okay. I do use crystals, and thank you for your question. Yes, I do use crystals. Now, crystals, um, like a marriage made in heaven. They comp the energy from the crystal actually complement the Reiki. You could do Reiki by itself. In fact, Julie, that's the way we were originally taught, and I think that it was like, you don't need crystals. Well,
No,
that's, but I do add crystals, and I intuitively pick the crystals for that person.
I do too.
Like I said, you know which ones um, to use. I can't explain it. You just know. And a
Hmm.
whole tub of crystals that I have available for each in-person or distance session that I do, and that's another thing we might want to touch on, is the fact that it knows no time. There's no time, no past, present, or future in Reiki. It's just timeline. It's not linear.
Adjust your phone. You're breaking.
Okay.
Thanks, Ravy Rave. So go into what attunement is.
Okay. Now the attunement is actually, first of all, there is some education part of it, but the actual attunement itself, you literally pass the information that you've received from your attunement on to the student, and you pass your lineage. And the lineage it starts with Dr. Yusui, and then it goes, and then he attuned Dr. Hayoshi. Dr. Hayoshi attuned Mrs. Takada. She's the one who brought Reiki to the United States. Now, this started in Japan. And then in our lineage, and anybody that I've attuned, um, the next one in line is Phyllis Furamoto, which is Mrs. Takata's granddaughter and one of the 22 that Mrs. Takata attuned. She only attuned 22 people. And I might add that back then, and just another tidbit, that you got to understand this is in the 1940s. So think about what $1 was worth then. Do you know how much a Reiki attunement all the way through master level was? $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So anytime, people are going like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. But it's forever. It's forever. Once you are tuned, you're tuned for life. It's not, it's like a degree. I mean, a piece of paper that can't take it away from you. It's always there.
No, the attunement stays with you, and to this day, the cost has gone way down, obviously, from that.
Oh, yes.
But still, at $200 to $500 a session, depending on who's charging what and how much you get, a lot of people don't understand. The cost is not to prohibit people from, and I've had people ask me this, are you trying to keep me out of doing this by charging a huge amount? No, it's what are you willing to do to be able to work with energy and have that lineage passed down through you to you and then through you to other people. There is a price for energy work. Energy work is not, unless we choose to make it free, it is not free.
No, and even then, it's just like even now, if I were to give, say, a Reiki session to a cancer patient or something, there has to be an energy exchange. And so, I mean, to me, even a smile from them, a huge thank you, there's got to be something, a hug, anything that, it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, but it has to have an energy exchange.
Yes.
And also, Mrs. Takata mentioned that the reason why the cost was so high for an attunement is the fact that it is like gold. It is literally like gold because it is not everyone has it,
Right.
So,
And it's something that people can learn. I believe that everybody can learn to use this on themselves. I believe that not everyone has it in themselves to work on other people. And that's not an intelligence issue.
no,
Sometimes it's a physical issue because even though we're taking energy from the universe, it still is very draining.
yes,
But learning to separate yourself and be the vessel is the difficult part, I believe. I think separating and knowing that I'm a vessel while I'm doing this work and I'm the funnel or the straw and keeping the feelings and emotions in my body out from clinging on to that energy. It takes a lot of work to practice that. Some people can do it just like that. Some of us had to learn to do that. Damien wants to know, would attunements repel attachments with a frequency change?
yes, they can. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. Your frequency raises. Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes. It's and there's other way, and you would also have to look, Damien, at the other reasons you're having attachments. Is it a frequency thing? Is it a behavioral thing? Are there things? Are there people and places and things that you're working with that are attracting certain energies that are actually attaching to you? And then I would look at why are they attaching to you as well.
right. And I would encourage, Damien, I'd encourage you to protect yourself too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, protection at all costs.
Yes, exactly.
And that can be done with stones and attunement and
And
um,
I'm sure has techniques too. You know, there's multiple ways, and I'm sure Julie, you probably teach that too.
yes, yes, I do. I do. So healing yourself, what other things would you recommend healing yourself with? Reiki, attunement.
Okay. I incorporate besides crystals. If it's an in-person session, and we need to, I won't go off on this rabbit hole yet.
It's okay. It's okay. We have time.
I know, but you know me, so please put that on the back burner. The distance Reiki. Okay. So
Okay.
let me talk about this. Um, I use in person besides the crystals that I intuitively pick. I also use essential oils, and these need to be. I use French medical grade essential oils because you got to know they have to. You have to have a reputable company that
Yes.
you use the oils from. They have to be able to, if you know, if you ask them, can I get the gas chronometer of this particular oil? That's where they actually check the frequency and the purity of it. They should be able to say, oh, yes, I can get that for you. If they don't, then, yeah, I think I might choose another company. You know, I'm not going to say one company is better than the other. That's for your own discernment. But I'm just trying to give you some ideas of some things. I know what I prefer to use, but it's kind of like ketchup. I don't tell you whether to use Heinz or um, a different brand because
Hmm.
everybody likes their own brand. That's fine. Just trying to tell you some things that I want to make sure that you check that they're pure because you're actually putting this on your skin, and that's the biggest organ in our body, for God's sakes.
Yes. The
And
largest. Yes.
yes, and so I add essential oils, and what I have found works the best for me is to apply them to a person's feet because whenever you go through, because you get those on your hands, and you do not want to get the essential oil fumes in a person's eyes, and very very few of the actual hand positions do you actually touch a person. Well, the eyes is one of them, and you put your hands over their eyes. Well, it's close enough that the fumes would get in a person's eyes, and so I,
Hmm.
for me, I put them on their feet. You know, that's essential oils can be added. Sound is extremely important because obviously sound heals. I like the solfeggio frequencies myself personally. You can blend those. Each frequency has its own unique attribute, and so depending upon the person, you're going to play this music while you're using the crystals and the essential oils, and you're sending the Reiki through. I also use acupressure points. I add those, and then some of Donna Eden's energy medicine. I do another technique that I teach is a chakra certification. You learn about the chakras in Reiki, but this goes above and beyond, and it actually teaches you how to open and close, and then fill the chakras with Reiki, so you're clearing and balancing, aligning them. I do that. There's multitudes of energy healing that actually occurs during my sessions. Every session is different. I'm not saying that all sessions are like this. If you're going to go to have a session, do some research.
Yeah.
Find
All of us are different. Check into what methods are used.
Yes, exactly.
Um, I use sound bowls, not so much because I prefer drums, just because I don't like the twangy twang of a singing bowl, but I have them. I love drumming. I use tobacco smoke. I go the plant-based medicines.
Exactly.
And I work with people with HAPE as well, but that's another whole certification and another whole thing. It's a plant, Amazonian plant medicine that I work with people with that as well.
Right. So yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying is kind of like do your research. And also another point is that, especially with the attunement, and uh, you've got to, if possible, meet the Reiki master teacher beforehand, or at least be in the room with them or talk to them over the phone. Because if you aren't in line with their energy, I mean, you've got to think about this. They are attuning you for life, and they're passing on energy to you.
Absolutely.
And that's why, I I highly encourage people. I think you and I had met, I had done a workshop. So you knew
Hmm.
met beforehand. So you knew everything was going to be okay before I ever attuned you. But
Right.
that's the whole point, is that you need to know that that person, you're going to click with them.
Oh, absolutely. Because if the energy doesn't feel right, you shouldn't be there. We've got a couple conversations going on here that I think are really, really good.
Okay.
Um, First of all, Damien, I don't know how they did an Ouija board on you, but that's a pretty cool tattoo. Um, Paranormal investigators, no protection. I'm a paranormal investigator as well as a demonologist, and I carry a shit ton, literally a shit ton of protection. I work with religious tokens. I work with my own things that I've created. I call in my spirit team. I'm bringing some of these up because there's multiple comments. Will hurt the spirits that could possibly be with you. If they're okay, so Reiki isn't going to hurt any spirits.
Right.
However, it can. Some of us that use it to remove negative entities
Yes.
that are harming you. If you want to keep those negative entities, then I probably wouldn't suggest Reiki. Um, if they're harming your body or harming you, I'm going to remove it. I'm pretty sure Joellen would remove it. Um, Demons, Reiki's going to help get the negative energy off. No, they're not going to stop a demon. We have to go in a lot deeper for things like that. But no, you do not have to be an open portal and unprotected when you do any form of paranormal investigation, and you shouldn't go in without protection doing that. Um, I was at Get Haunted on the 22nd with Rob and Sarah's, and you'll 22nd. Oh, okay. So, Damien, you'll have to text in. Were you at the Missouri Penitentiary? Did I meet you then? Because I went to Get Haunted at Missouri State. So, hit me up and let me know that. But we're going to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. So, if you're going to go to the Gettysburg Get Haunted, I will be there with my husband. We're Raven's Eye. Sorry about that. Taking care of typed business. So, tell people what the solfeggio
Okay. The soul
frequency.
frequencies, the Gregarian monks actually used these frequencies years ago. I mean, I think about how long ago the Gregarian monks were around, and they would chant them together. There are actually 9 of them, and the 174 will remove pain. So you can play it. I mean, these are energy forms that you can use without Reiki. They just complement Reiki. They enhance Reiki's ability. Is why I play them during a Reiki session. But they can remove pain. They can help expedite healing. They can open up your third eye. Um, I'm just kind of off my head trying to think about all the different ones. The 528 is the one that I use, and it's called. It can actually transform your DNA back to its original state, and it is love. So that's kind of my go-to one. But then you can also combine these frequencies too. And I know that a couple of years ago I was hospitalized and I had septic shock. And so I would play those, besides giving myself Reiki and then calling upon the people that I had attuned to send me Reiki.
Hmm.
Those, I found them on YouTube on my and played them on my phone. And I really think that
Oh, absolutely.
helped a lot. But yeah, I mean, and also another thing that I forgot to mention about protection. Um, I call in now. Personally, I work with Archangel Michael and also Archangel Raphael, which of course is a healer. But I work with both of those for my Reiki. You do not have to. That's another thing that you can ask the Reiki practitioner master if if what they use, you know.
Correct.
And I call in my lineage. I call in my lineage, and I also have what I call a dream team that is it goes beyond my guardian angels and stuff, and it consists of ascended masters and um, archangels, and I call in a lot of forces to help with the protection and to assist in the Reiki session.
I laugh every time I say Archangel Michael because I get those comments about, oh, so you're Catholic. No,
Oh,
no, far from it. My mom was Catholic, my dad was Baptist. They got married Methodist. We joined the Episcopal Church. I have Jewish godparents, and I've left the Christian religion as a whole. I don't do any religion. I
right,
have been initiated in Haitian voodoo, African Afa, and Santeria, and have left those religions because they're man made and there's a lot of rules and there's a lot of things. But as far as spirit pools go, Archangel Michael will work with anyone.
exactly. Yes,
He will come and he will work with anything, anyone. Um, and I call him enough in my practice that I swear he stands in the corner and just kind of goes, "Oh, like, here we go again. What a hot mess. What's she calling in this time?"
that,
Um, so, for when Damien was commenting about the different spirits and working with different things, I'm a person that will work with pretty much everything. I try to stay out of the demon path if I need to. I'm not afraid to call one in to remove another one, but I don't really like to do that. I'm more into removing the demons than playing with the demons, although I play with my own frequently. Um, but Michael just sits there and looks at me like, "Oh boy, here we go again.
right.
Here we go." But he's accepting of everybody. So those people listening, you don't have to belong to a subscribed church or religion or indoctrination, and he will still be there.
And you can even call him to clear things. You know, I do that along with crystals. I use black kyanite um, as like a blade, or you can use selenite.
I use selenite a lot.
You can use that.
It's my go-to for everything and everyone.
Oh yes, and it's such a high frequency. Oh my gosh, it is beautiful. It is absolutely
And
beautiful.
it's not super expensive. You're not putting out $100 for a rock that, number one, you're not quite sure if it's real or not. And don't order your rocks on Amazon and Temu. Please, please, please don't do that because most of those are not real. You want a high quality stone
Yeah.
that's going to work.
Now, I used to never order off Amazon, and a few of the companies that I have ordered from actually go through Amazon to sell. So you can, if you use your own discernment.
Yes, yes. Well, if you have a stone company, a reputable stone company that's selling on Amazon, that's a lot different than just buying something from a store that you have no idea what it is.
No, I totally agree with you, but I just want to let people know that there
Sure.
are companies that have chosen to use Amazon as one of their venues to sell, just because of the convenience of it. you know.
Sure, sure. And one of the things that I work with when I'm cleaning people, and you really have to be careful when you work with this particular stone. It has to resonate with you. It's not something that you go and drop a lot of money on and then find out it doesn't work for you. But I work with cinnabar a lot. And
Yes.
cinnabar is a highly toxic stone. If it gets heated up to a certain temperature, it emits mercury.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you don't sleep with it. You don't take a shower with it on. You have to be very careful if if it's 110 degrees, 120 in a building you're investigating with no energy or with no electricity. I would not put that in my pocket and I would not be wearing that.
Right. But you can't by your front door, of course.
Right, right. But that is one of the stones that I work with when I'm cleaning people, because I do cleanings and I do remove a lot of negative things from people. So
Gosh,
we've
I'm
talked.
frantically searching for my cinnabar bracelet because I do not have it on.
Oh no.
But whenever I do Reiki, I do put it on.
Yes, the cinnabar. Those of us that know cinnabar, I absolutely love my cinnabar. Nor will I put it on another person. It is strictly for me. And
Yes.
I don't let anybody touch my cinnabar. It's one of those things that I keep it on me and don't. I just let people go, oh, can I see it? Here it is right here. I'm not taking it off and handing it to you. Sarah's on, Sarah Reichert. She says the church I grew up in is Saint Michael Archangel. Maybe that's why I'm so excited or so accepting of everyone. Probably. I mean, Michael is very accepting.
Absolutely.
He's great to work with. I swear my Michael is very gothic and has swoopy hair, and he does that whole dramatic look every time I call him down, because it's the weirdest times and it's always the roughest spots, and I wait. It's another whole story.
Exactly. Exactly. But like I said, I mean that's all personal preference, you know.
And
Uh,
if that doesn't jive with you, find someone who doesn't work with it. There are so many Reiki people out there.
yes.
There you will find somebody that is willing to do what it is you need to do in a controlled way that they know.
Right.
Um,
Right. And also another thing is that a lot of people will say, "Oh my God, I felt the heat come off of your hand," and it may not feel hot to us. Julie, you can attest to this.
yes.
We don't necessarily feel the heat, but the recipient will, and they will feel, yeah, heat come off of our hand.
You work with the violet flame as well, correct?
I do. Yes. Yes. I work with Violet Flame. Yeah.
So explain what that is.
Okay. That is, it's from Saint Germain. That was his gift to us. And it's actually a very powerful form of energy. In fact, it is used, the violet flame itself is used as part of the karuna. That's uh, another form of Reiki. Um, that it's actually used in that attunement. It's that powerful. It's a very powerful, loving energy that I usually visualize it more than I do anything else. Um, you can you can use it along with the Reiki if you are giving Reiki to somebody. You can also add the violet flame with it.
The violet flame, I a lot of times will send it either from the head to the feet or the feet to the head to
Right,
keep things open and keep the negative burned away for a period of time.
right. It is extremely powerful. Like I said, it is extremely powerful. Very healing. Very healing.
So if you for people for our listeners out there, for people who don't know Saint Germain, I cannot tell you the Catholic Church version of Saint Germain. That I'm not familiar with, but I did go down the rabbit hole deeply with and about Saint Germain, and there's all kinds of things about him. Um, may have actually been, if you believe in other dimensional beings, he is said to be like the modern day vampire type of person that lives forever.
Right.
He deciphered the alchemy through someone else for the Philosopher's Stone, and was able. He did metallurgy. Is that I believe that's what it's called. He could take anything and make it into gold. He could transfer substances. Obviously, had a gift.
And also a connection between Saint Germain and Archangel Metatron.
Okay, there you go. There's the connection.
Yep.
And he lived for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of. His name will pop up in various places. He was at the start of many a war. He was at the start of many a peace treaty. He kind of popped in and out of places. Nobody ever saw him eat.
No.
They saw him drink small amounts of water, but he had the gift of life. Like he had the chemical, the alchemy invention of life in an elixir, supposedly, and the flame was his, and that he only passed that on to a few.
Yeah. Well, and also the I Am discourse books are Saint Germain.
Okay, tell me more about that, because I haven't heard about that.
Okay, there's actually 3 of them. They're available on Amazon, and you've heard about the power of the affirmation "I am," and how if you utter it, if you speak it, if you write it, the "I am" is the epitome of making your body. It's like that. The alchemy again. It's
Okay.
body, whatever you say that you want it to be. I am, so I am healed. I mean, that is extremely powerful.
And that brings me to, we whisper to ourselves, we talk to ourselves under our breath, we walk around doing everything from grocery lists to the negative self speak that we do, such as, I am, God, I'm so stupid. When you forget something, I am so this, I am so that.
Yeah.
And whispering is a form of spell work. When you mutter and whisper, that is believed to be 100 times stronger than things that are said crystal clear out loud. Because when we whisper and mutter, we tend to be repetitious. And so you're creating a spell and you're manifesting that into time and space. Man, I don't feel good today. Today's a crappy day. I am having a bad day. I am.
Yep.
You've set that in motion. And so you've just manifested those things onto you instead of saying, I am so blessed, I am happy, I am healthy, I am well.
Right.
Even if you're not,
right.
You're speaking that.
And our words become like a magnet.
Yes.
For instance, oh, I'm having a bad day. Well, you just made the whole day bad. I mean, literally, and things will start happening that will be a bad day. And it was like attracts like, so it'll be like a magnet to attract all that.
Right. And no, it's really not. Damien says it's like a thought reverse placebo. It's not really a placebo. Vibrations attack. Well, they do attack. They attach and attack other vibrations. And so if you're putting out positive are going to be attracted. But if you're putting out negative is an opportunist. It's going to jump in there faster.
I mean, everything is frequency. From our words to our thoughts, to plants that we eat, to the colors that we wear. Each color emits a certain vibration. I mean, everything is frequency. Everything is energy. So
Surround yourself carefully.
exactly, that's right.
Surround yourself carefully.
I
So what else you want to share?
I talked briefly about distance Reiki.
Yes.
Okay. It is absolutely amazing. And I know people are going like, oh, are you kidding me? What? This is a bunch of a crock of, but no, it isn't. It's real and it does. And Reiki will heal from a distance. And in fact, during the COVID shutdown, and I had moved to Florida. And so a lot of my clients were in Missouri. So they're going like, well, I need a Reiki session. I said, well, we'll do a distance Reiki session. And that's exactly what we did. And for almost the entire time that the whole world was shut down, I was still able to send Reiki and through distance sessions. And I still do that today. But I add crystals to that. And, because Reiki knows no time or space. So you can go back and you can heal things from your past with Reiki. Or if let's say you're having an upcoming meeting or something, you can send Reiki to the future, to enhance it. So it doesn't have to be in the here and now. It can, or future.
And when we heal things, I think it's also interesting I didn't remember hearing this through my Reiki training way back, the first set, but going through rebirthing classes and Kundalini classes and those kind of classes, I've learned that when you heal something, you heal 7 generations back and 7 generations forward.
Oh, that makes total sense.
So when you're working on someone's chakras and you're opening them up and the memories are coming out and the negative attachments from childhood, because when we're children, we take things so literally. And yes, there's all kinds of trauma, and I'm not going to get into trauma therapy by any means, but we can take the littlest things and blow them up into monsters that haunt us as adults, huge shadow creature monsters.
Right.
When really all it is, when you strip it down, is a child needing a hug.
Exactly.
And so 7 generations back and 7 forwards is huge. It's absolutely phenomenally huge.
It absolutely is. And yes, that is. If I, well,
Do you need to get up and get a drink?
I think let me grab my water real quick. I'll be right back.
Uh-huh. So while she's getting a drink, I'm going to go through some comments. Hi, Cheryl. You did talk to yourself, but I talked to myself too. That's like, okay. I think it's okay. As long as we're saying positive things and not muttering negative. But that's the thing. And no, I wish it did work that way, Damien, because I'd be healing probably a lot more myself and a lot more people if negative attracted positives, but it's not like magnets. Likeness attracts when it comes to energy, not magnets.
Right. Very good. Yeah.
I wish it did, because when I'm driving, I speak a lot of negative, and I wish it would attract positive. But as a driver, I don't always say really positive things, and I probably should do more.
I've tried to be very, it's a work in progress.
It is. I try to add and bless their little hearts. I don't know if that helps or not. I don't really think, because the intention never really shifted.
Well, I don't know though. I mean, blessing someone has an extreme benefit. I know people are saying like, "Oh, it's just a word." Oh no, it's not.
No.
And then you bless yourself. So, yeah, I think you're on the right track there with that.
Yeah, like you said, it's definitely a work in progress. Definitely a work in progress. So if people wanted to get a hold of you, how do you suggest they do that?
Oh, they can message me on the Serene Reiki page, or they can go on to my Facebook page. I have a Facebook page as well under Joellen Becker, and they could message me there. Um, I have a an email, but I honestly I don't check it that much. I mean, I set up a Serene Reiki email, but I don't check it enough. So I think Messenger is probably a better way to try to reach me if you have Facebook.
Good, good. And no, also for the listeners out there, both of us do everything we do long distance.
Yes, yes,
We do it slightly different as everybody does, but it's nothing for those of us to that are on tonight. I'm just going to speak for the two of us because we can't speak for anybody else. But we are both able to dial you up on Zoom or Facebook or however you choose to do it and make contact with you and do sessions across the world, across the
right.
country, however it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I mean, as long as you get coordinate the time zones, I mean that's the biggie. And also, I might add that I think I forgot to tell you that. I mean, you can Reiki anything. You can Reiki your plants. I've Reiki'd animals before. I actually sent Reiki, distance Reiki, to a horse who was not responding to a veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and this, I mean, it did not look bad. It looked horrible. I was sent pictures of the horse's leg, and they'd had the vet there numerous times over about a 2 week span, and nothing was happening. And I sent distance Reiki, and then the horse went on to win its fourth national award. It was
That's awesome. Yeah,
so
pets love it.
yeah, that's another thing that I didn't, because some people will learn Reiki and they'll say, I don't want to work on other people, but I'll work on pets. Okay, well that's fine too.
Oh, absolutely. And
There-
sending distance Reiki, I'm sure you do it too when you drive by an accident or something like that. You're always sending whatever. And which I guess is one more thing we should probably cover, even though 10 o'clock's kind of sort of our stopping point, but we can keep going a little longer. Is that when I work on a person, and I know you do this as well, we always ask permission, although we have paying customers. So when you schedule a visit, that is permission.
Exactly.
That is obviously permission, but I never just go up to somebody and do Reiki, Reiki, Reiki on someone. You always ask permission unless it's an emergency, and then there are special qualifiers. I will send it for their higher good, and if it's not needed or unwanted, may it go to that which needs it or wants it.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And also if say for instance, I worked on a woman who was in a coma or just coming out of a coma. She was still nonverbal, still on a feeding tube and everything. And I couldn't get her permission, but
Right.
I had to go in and ask her higher self. So it's you do get the permission there. And like you said, if it's like an awful accident or something, and you just send it and say if it's needed, let it happen. They
Right.
do it. Um, but I think that the main point is to show that we're not trying to manipulate anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
That's really the whole purpose of it is to show that it's not. But that is part of the ethic of Reiki.
And you can't mess it up.
Exactly. That's right.
You cannot mess it up.
Nope, you can never get it wrong. That's right. That's right. And as you well know, Julie, that's what I tell all of my students. Because
Don't get if you want to do it and you think, damn, I cannot remember the symbols, I cannot remember this. It doesn't matter. It's 100% intention. Those symbols are embedded or given to you when you're attuned, not just for regular treatments, but when you go through the attunement, those symbols come to you, they are in you. So even if you just say Reiki, 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 you have sent Reiki. You cannot mess it up.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. And Reiki will do no harm.
It does not. So for the Wiccans out there that do no harm and the other spiritualities out there that don't want to do harm, it does no harm.
It does no harm. And actually, in fact, I might add, and I know this has probably happened to you, Julie. Like the thing is that if you are taking clients in and they want a session and you've set the time frame, this has happened to me a couple of times, and you just kind of like, well, you set it for an hour, but the Reiki will stop whenever it's done. And I know that sounds bizarre because it's going through you. And whenever it is done, because it won't give the person more than their body can handle. And it will.
Right.
And so, you look up at the clock and it's only been like 45 minutes. You're going like, oh, great. Now what do I do? Usually I'll fill it in with crystals or whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
The Reiki will just stop, and there is not a thing you can do about it.
Right.
And it's not that the practitioner is trying to gyp you in any way at all. I mean, they just can't help it. It stops. It has a mind of its own, and it's not going to give you more than your body can handle.
No, and that's a very positive thing.
Yes.
And even the extras that we do to assist, the drummings, the things like that, the tools that we use are all beneficial. We're not going to use something that's going to lower your vibration. We're not going to do anything that's going to cause harm to anything that is for your higher good. That's probably how I should have worded it before. When we're doing something to work on you for your higher vibration and your higher good, we're only going to clear and help raise your vibration. We cannot lower your vibration doing that. It's not spell work. It's not trickery. It's nothing like that that's going to do that. But that's also why we have to keep ourselves clean.
Exactly. That's right. And we just have to be very careful because, we like we talked about at the very first, we're stirring up a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you specifically direct it, so whatever, however you decide to do that, whatever is in your realm, it doesn't have a place to go. So it's going to latch on to you. It doesn't, it's just left this other person. It's like, oh, I left that home. I like you.
Yeah. And that's one of the big things that I have against, and I say against it, but I'm a hypocrite because I do it. I just have my own ways of containing it. But when you go to big shows and everybody's in an auditorium or a convention center and you're doing Reiki and you're doing body work.
Yeah, I don't do that.
And I have done that, and I've removed really nasty things off of people in places accidentally. Well, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say that. I removed them intentionally, but that was not part of what I was doing that day. They came to me and it was like, whoa, you have something on you that's massive and it needs to come off now.
Right.
I have my own protection set up for that. I have my own way of cleaning myself for that.
Right.
And Damien, no, you're not bad. A lot of people don't understand how this works and they just kind of go helter skelter into this. I will take things into my body that I shouldn't take into my body to be able to get rid of it later so that I can keep an auditorium or a convention center clean, but still get that person clean.
Right.
But I also know how to get rid of it.
That's where you and I differ because, see, I won't go into a convention center or whatever and do this. I prefer to have it more. Mm-hmm. But I admire you because you will do this and you will actually take it upon yourself, and then you'll dispose of it later so that it doesn't attach.
Right.
Joe walking across, um, happens to be walking through the vicinity, and so I totally admire that. But personal,
It's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Sometimes it comes off easier than it, and sometimes it doesn't come off for a while.
right. But like I said, for me personally, I prefer not to do that. But everybody is different, and there again, you'll find the person that is right for you. And but if you do want to be trained, the thing is that Reiki will transform you.
Yes.
Even it doesn't matter if you never use it on another person, but you choose to use it on yourself. You have transformed your the rest of your life. I mean, it's I can't explain it. It's an experience that is definitely worthwhile. And like I said, it doesn't mean just because you are tuned that you have to uh, have a brick and mortar and set up your shingle and begin doing it, because you don't. You can, but you don't.
You never have to touch another person.
No,
That's the thing about it. It's only boosting you if
exactly.
you choose to let it in and you choose to work with it.
That's right. That's right.
And so for people that have disease processes and other things, even mental issues, mental health issues, or family history of trauma, you're healing and working through all of those things, and anything that we can do to better ourselves.
Right. Well, and I mean, it can't be all that bad if it's used in 800 hospitals and clinics across the United States.
Yeah, it's starting to be accepted,
And
widespread. When we first started this, there wasn't any place.
no, there wasn't any place. And now then, I mean, we're talking about the John Hopkins, the Mayo clinics, the big guns. These are the people that they're using Reiki as an alternative enhancement. It doesn't replace medical treatment, but it will definitely enhance it. And also for the doctors and nurses to help them with the stress of their jobs.
Oh, absolutely. And
So,
that's a biggie because we all know the healthcare professionals are under stress.
oh, absolutely. Yes,
Since the dawning of COVID, it has been a nightmare for workers,
right.
and understaffed and underpaid. And
Yeah, unfortunately. So it's like I said, it's there for not only the patients, but also the caregivers too.
for sure, for sure.
Addle
And
on, sorry.
what?
I can addle on and on. I told you, you get me.
Oh, no, no, no. I'm going to give it a few minutes for if anybody has any questions popping up, to see if anybody has any last questions, and we will share in the StreamYard and on Facebook pages where you can find Joellen, and nothing's being typed. Hang around backstage. So they'll close us out. Hang around backstage for a second and we'll finish. Thank you all for joining us tonight. What age can you start Reiki? Any age. For real, any age.
Yeah, any age. Usually, it's probably now any age can receive Reiki. Now, as far as an attunement, I like to have a discussion with a child first, because I mean it is permanent,
Mm-hmm.
and but usually around six ish
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
can start attunements, and children are amazing. I mean they just they haven't learned to shut it off yet. They already know.
And their vibration is so
pure and so high. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So it goes straight. They can work straight from the source and never think about using themselves for that.
Right.
They're
No,
pure light.
they are. Yes. But
Good
you,
question. Good question. And you can get a hold of us, and I believe both of us train long distance as well.
yes, yes. In fact, during COVID, I did many a virtual attunement. And
Show.
no, I mean, I had to.
Yeah, because nobody was getting together physically in a center for anything.
Yeah. I mean, I've, whenever I was in Florida, I tuned people in Idaho, in Nebraska, in Illinois, in Missouri, in Florida, and these were virtual, attunements in Virginia. So it's all over. It didn't matter.
Right. So get a hold of Joellen if you want to be trained, if you want a session. The stuff will be on my Facebook page, her Facebook page, Serene Reiki as well, and posted on StreamYard for the viewers too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining. I love you. Thank you.
So much.
Good night. I'll see you next week.
Hey, thanks. Bye bye.
Bye.